Hello, everybody. Hey, OA, hey, Apparition. Welcome back to Higurashi. Last time we had a rather slow chapter until the end where, bam, wow. Now that is the kind of shit I love to see in Higurashi. Just these intense confrontations and clashes of ideals. That was just, oh my god, with Tomoe and Natsumi, like, who would have ever thought Natsumi would even have this side to her? My god, like those kind of things that Natsumi was saying about, like, hello Jess, welcome to the stream. There were things that Natsumi was saying. Oh, that is totally fine, Featherine. Thank you for joining us. Oh my god. Tomoe versus Natsumi. That's up there. Hello, Void Dweller. I believe that it was compared last time to Keiichi's conversation with Rena in Tsumi Horoboshi, and in the beginning when she was talking to everyone in the dump. And not going to spoil that too much, although I've said a lot of Higurashi spoilers throughout this Let's Play, but you know what you're going to do. It's on the channel. I've played Matsuribashi and Minagroshi, which basically spoil all of Higurashi on this channel, even though it was forever ago and I had crappy sound and video quality and I had no idea what I was doing, but it's there. So I'm gonna try my best, but if something slips out about about Higurashi, then it's on the channel. But I will try. Anyway, back to what I was saying. That conversation between Tomoe and Natsumi last time. I hope we get right back onto things like that. I want to know more about this hidden side of Natsumi and how Tomoe is like she was feeling down before then. And I think like restating her own ideals in that sense kind of gave her a confidence boost of her own. So without further ado, we got a lot of people for Higurashi today already. Let's get back into it. Here we go, we were right here. Spring 1983. Somewhere. Since when did food and alcohol become so delicious? On this day, Tomoe was probably experiencing the third happiest moment of her life thus far. You've been drinking too much. Come on, sis. It's fine once in a while. Excuse me. Tomoe was slightly drunk and gleefully laughing as she opened the sliding door and called out to the waitress. I'm sorry. This is just for today. Could you please overlook it? I'm guessing the waitress who is actually keeping... Can I just say, is the waitress here being given a name where Natsumi's parents didn't even get their own names in the name tags, although they were given names in the story? Really? Of course. Strictly speaking, bringing outside food and drink into this restaurant was prohibited. However, when Tomoe explained the situation to the waitress, she shrugged her shoulders and said, "Our little secret," then went into the kitchen and came back with 2 beautiful wine glasses. Oh yes, this is it! Wine doesn't taste as good when you drink it from a cup after all.
許可も下りたことだし、景気よく全部飲んじゃいましょう。
Well, since we have permission, let's drink the whole thing.
強引だな。
You're already pushing it.
それにそのワインすごく高いんでしょ。
And isn't that wine expensive?
確かシャトーなんだっけ。
It must be, right?
本当に大丈夫なの？
Is that really okay?
何言ってるの？
I think you mean minors, Feathering. And they're both, I think they're both in their 20s. What are you talking about?
今日はあんたの警察官採用のお祝いなのよ。
We're celebrating today because you were accepted into the police force, right?
本当だったらもっと高いのにしようと思ってたんだけど、とりあえずこれで我慢しなさい。
Honestly, I was thinking of getting something even more expensive, but this will have to do for now.
これでも十分大げさだって。
This is already overdoing it. Madoka shook her head in amazement, but even so, she still looked happy. Indeed, Tomoe was certainly unusually high spirits that evening. Breaking the rules inside a restaurant seemed like something she would never do, yeah. However, that wasn't entirely impossible. Plus, even though they had been fighting for a long time, her younger sister who had been living far away finally seemed to be taking her work seriously. It was about time for the two of them to move on from their parents' deaths. After the psychological trauma her sister endured in that incident, Tomoe dedicated her life to protecting her. She abandoned her promising future in athletics and declined to enroll in the university that sent her a personal invitation, all to further that goal.
Minai, 本当にいいのか?
I don't know who this guy is.
Minai, are you really okay with that?
今のお前の実力なら、次の世界陸上の日本代表だって狙えるところにいるんだ。
With your current capabilities, you can become the Japanese representative in the next World Athletics competition.
大学がダメなら、実業団にだって紹介状を書いてもらえるだろう。
If you're not interested in college, we could write you recommendation letters for corporate sports teams.
だから、陸上を完全に諦めなくてもいいんじゃないか?
So, do you really want to give up on track and field entirely?
Really, Featherine? I don't think it's that good, but thank you. I try. I always want to get better. Staff members, alumni, the counselor, everyone told her that and tried to stop her. Yeah, that's true, Jess. And Rika in Minagoroshi was similar to that as well. Nevertheless, Tomoe's determination was unshaken.
陸上を続ける限り、きっと練習だの遠征だのと忙しい毎日を送ることになります。
As long as I continue doing track and field, I'm sure I'll be busy with practice and exercise every day.
妹が昔の明るさを取り戻すまで、私はできる限りのことをしてあげたいんです。
I want to do as much as I can for my sister until she returns to the brightness of the old days. Indeed, as far as Tomoe was concerned, her sister was far more important than extracurricular activities and career planning. From then on, Tomoe tried desperately hard to fill in for her lost parents. During Madoka's hospitalization, Tomoe skipped out on school to support her through psychological care and rehabilitation. After Madoka's hospitalization concluded and they returned home, Tomoe studied daily, day and night, to make up for the lost schoolwork. And after Madoka returned to school, Tomoe did her best to protect her sister during the many times she got in trouble at school. Hello, T. Welcome to the stream. All the while believing, It would help her regain her former happiness, even a little. Nonetheless, Tomoe was ready to give up on the university entrance exams because she didn't think she'd be able to pass in the short time she had to prepare. Maybe it was luck, or maybe it was the result of her efforts, but somehow she managed to pass the Ibaraki National University entrance exam. She decided to go to Ibaraki, where her grandmother was from, rather than the familiar Tokyo. Needless to say, Madoka's hard time at school was a contributing factor. Once Tomoe began attending college, their distant relatives started helping the girls who lost their parents by paying for tuition and living expenses. However, Tomoe had already saved up the money she needed to pay for Madoka's future, so she didn't need to touch the donations. My God, Tomoe! How the fuck did you do that?
国立大ならバイト先も見つけやすいし、奨学金もあるからね。
She really is, Feathering. My God. Also, this was in the 80s where college wasn't nearly as expensive. But it's easier to find part-time work at a national university. And there are scholarships, too.
これはまどかの結婚資金として残しておきたいの。
Oh my God. So I'd like to set this money aside as a wedding fund for Madoka. Her grandmother seemed a little concerned with that reply, but she meant it earnestly. Tomoe firmly believed that the probability of making one of them happy was much higher than the probability of them both being happy. Oh no. Wow. My God. She's sacrificing her own happiness for her sister's happiness. I wonder if Madoka will be satisfied. Oh, God. This reminds me of Hamilton here in that. Jesus Christ. Although with a different general situation, but the same idea. Still, despite those intentions, Madoka suddenly dropped out of high school one day. Yep, she better be satisfied, Featherine. Yes, somebody got it! And when Tomoe came home to question her about it, her grandmother told her that Madoka had already walked out.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
私はもうお姉ちゃんのお荷物になりたくない。
I don't want to be your baggage any longer.
これ以上お姉ちゃんに迷惑をかけたくありません。
I don't want to bother you any more than I have, sis. Yep, I moved to Australia a couple of years ago, Void Dweller. That letter was the only thing left in her room.
どうか探さないでください。
Please don't come looking for me.
お元気で。さようなら。
I'll be fine. Goodbye.
何よ。何よ。
Wait. What?
お荷物なんて。
Baggage.
お荷物なんて。
What's this about baggage? Who said anything like that? When did she even think that? I've never thought of Madoka as an obstacle, not even for an instance. Yep, she does. From the earlier in the story, we know that she does. Featherine. That girl was always my precious, my only little sister.
バカ野郎。まどかの大バカ野郎。
Moron. Madoka, you're a goddamn moron! She desperately searched around town. She visited every place she knew and called every one of her acquaintances. Walking late into the night for days. Walking and walking some more. After trashing several pairs of shoes, Tomoe finally understood. It was an undeniable fact that Madoka wasn't in this town anymore. One night, she heard a story that a friend encouraged Madoka to take the train. Tomoe stood out in the alley in the middle of the pouring rain, looked up to the heavens and cried. I'm surprised we don't get a CG of that. She had been holding in the sorrow from the death of her parents all this time. But in that moment, she was powerless to hold back the rush of tears. If Tomoe hadn't run into Uishi at the time, she might have destroyed herself in her desperation. Jesus Christ. How did they run into each other again at the police station? Then, a few years later... Oh my god. Tomoe was traveling to Tokyo as part of police business, and by some amazing coincidence, she ran into Madoka at a street corner downtown. And when Tomoe learned that Madoka was working in a shady establishment, for the first time in her life, she smacked her. Honestly, she's kind of justified with that. Like, just leaving without saying anything, not knowing if she's alive or dead. I just... No! I'm not going home! Madoka pushed Tomoe's extended hand away as she said that, with her cheeks bright red. Madoka, you... Leave me alone! I'm not as smart as you, sis, but I'm living and thinking properly on my own here! Thinking? What on earth are you thinking? Your way of thinking involves feeding middle-aged men a pack of lies as though they're more alcohol! It's still bringing in decent money, so it's a wonderful job! Everyone here is seriously working hard! Don't look down on me with your selfish prejudice! Madoka. This is what you become! She still remembered the pain in her fist at that moment. Even now. Oh, wow, that was an intense scene. Then several more years passed, up to today. Since that day, Tomoe had prepared herself to never see her sister again. Nevertheless, Tomoe suddenly received a message from Madoka after a long absence. It was a long time coming, but in the depths of her heart, she had been waiting for all this time. There were a lot of things between us, but enough is enough. Madoka finally changed her mind, so that's all I need. I think she was working as a hostess. Plus, Madoka was becoming a police officer, just like Tomoe and her father. So Tomoe was deeply moved. Come on, why aren't your chopsticks moving? What do you want to eat? Did you order some of this salted fish? You like it, huh? Enough about that. You're usually so frugal, aren't you, sis? Well, I certainly said that we should celebrate, but I never expected you to pick such an expensive restaurant. What are you saying? Isn't this great, Madoka?
のためにお金ってのは使うものなの。
The whole point of money is to use it for times like these.
無駄遣いは良くないけど、ケチばっかりでも人生楽しくないでしょ。
Wasting money is a shame, but don't you need to have a little fun in your life?
違う？
Am I wrong?
うわ、お姉ちゃんがそれ言うかな。
Wow, sis. I can't believe you said that.
うっさい。
Enough about that.
それにさ、私も再来月からは警部補なんだから。
Besides, I'm being promoted to deputy inspector in 2 months.
お給料だって上がるんだし、どーんと任せなさいっての。
And that comes with a nice salary increase. So leave this to me.
そっか、いよいよ警部補なんだね。
Oh, I see. So you're finally a deputy inspector.
遅くなったけど、おめでとう。
I guess I'm late in saying this, but congratulations.
ありがとう。
Yeah, thanks. Their glasses full of amber wine clanked together as the two of them celebrated each other's accomplishments. Even though she was a college graduate, she was still a woman, and very few people outside the executive path made the rank of deputy inspector at so young an age. However, even though Tomoe had no desire to climb among the elites, her father's brave name happened to work in her favor.
あ、だけどお姉ちゃんって今は警部補研修期間だから警察学校で寮生活なんでしょ？
Oh, but I guess you're going through training at the police academy now as part of the promotion to deputy inspector?
こんな夜に外出して門限は大丈夫なの？
Is it okay for you to be out this late at night?
大丈夫よ。
It's fine.
初任教養の時と違って割とその辺は緩やかなんだから。
Unlike the initial police training, this phase is less strict.
今日は土曜日だし、明日の新幹線で帰れば問題なしよ。
Today's Saturday, so there won't be any problem if I take the train back tomorrow.
へえ。
Whoa!
ねえ、寮ってどんな感じ？
Really? What's it like in the dorms?
参考までに教えてよ。
Tell me everything you know.
いいわよ。
Sure thing.
まどかも来月から警察学校に入るんだもんね。
Right. You're also entering the police academy next month.
ーっと
After saying that, Tomoe grabbed a bunch of old notes and pamphlets she had prepared in advance and pulled them out of her bag. True to Tomoe's character, all the pages were tattered, and when she opened them up, they were covered in marks and sticky notes.
きっと押し入れの奥からでも引っ張り出してきたんだろうな。
She must have pulled this from the back of the closet. She must have turned the house upside down to find these things covered in dust, hoping to help her younger sister. Tomoe was willing to put in the effort to help Madoka, anytime. And even though their feud continued to this day, that aspect of her character didn't change a bit. Madoka suddenly felt teary-eyed, but she tried to wipe it away with her fingers and pushed herself to stay bright and cheerful. This kind of reminds me of back when I used to live in America. Me and my sister, and I were separated for by about 5 years. So it's kind of similar to this, it seems, actually. And we used to go to restaurants together all the time and talk about shit, and like also go to movies and stop at Barnes and Noble before or after, depending on where it was. Those were the days. I mean, I love my life now, except for a couple of things. Don't get me wrong, but I really wish I was able to do that again, as well. I guess you can't have everything, though. And we would just talk and talk and talk about everything. She didn't want to dampen their celebration by acting so unrefined.
へえ、結構覚えること多いんだね。
Whoa. There were a lot of things to remember.
憲法、民法、刑法。
The Constitution, the Civil Code, the Penal Code.
うわ、英語って必須なの？
Whoa! English is mandatory! Who the hell can speak English?
当たり前じゃない。外国の人も立派な一市民よ。
Isn't that natural? Foreigners are perfectly fine citizens.
舐めてかかると痛い目に遭うんだから。
And we need to help them all the same.
とほほ。
Oh, that sounds so cute. No way! Tohu.
まさかまたこの年になってバテレンの言葉を学ばなきゃいけないとは。
Needing to learn the language of Christian missionaries at my age.
あんたいつの時代の人よ。
Since when were you so old?
ま、確かにまどかってお父さんと一緒で英字書くの下手くそだったもんね。
Well, you do take after Dad and his inability to write English characters, didn't you? How the fuck is that possible? Japanese characters are like freaking works of miniature works of art. Are you telling me that she can write Japanese characters, which require like 58 brushstrokes each, but can't write English letters, which are like a maximum of 4 lines, and like in very simple shapes? I call bullshit on that one. What? Are you serious? Like Japanese characters are like miniature works of art. Like they're so complicated and like I just can't even imagine that.
失礼な。
How rude.
お父さんほどひどくなかったよ。
I was never as bad as Dad was.
多分。
Probably.
他にも道交法とか救急関連の知識とかもあるからね。
Aside from that, you need to know the rules of the road and emergency procedures. Now, English grammar, on the other hand, I can understand being very difficult to learn because English has so many exceptions to every quote unquote rule. It's ridiculous. That I can see a foreigner having trouble with. English grammar, definitely. But writing the letters, like that's probably the easiest part of it.
もちろん逮捕術と武道も。
And of course, how to conduct an arrest and some basic martial arts.
そういえばまどかは前に剣道やってたっけ？
By the way, Madoka, didn't you take kendo before?
前って小学校の話じゃない。
Well, yes, before, but that was all the way back in elementary school.
一級取ってすぐやめちゃったからやってなかったのと一緒だよ。
I started in 4th grade, and I dropped it shortly afterwards.
大丈夫よ。きっと体が覚えてるから。
That's fine. I'm sure your body will remember.
私の時もそうだったしね。
It was the same for me. Really, is kendo like riding a bike?
お姉ちゃんと一緒にしないでってば。
Sis, just because you did it doesn't mean I can.
大体ね。
It's not that simple. And for a while, the two of them went on excitedly telling old stories and sharing memories of each other. They covered a range of topics, and the noise and laughter never stopped. In addition to the nostalgia, they took pleasure in closing the gap in the time they spent away from each other.
そういえば寮にお姉ちゃん以外の女の人っているの？
By the way, are there any women other than you in the dorms?
結構いるわよ。
Yeah, plenty.
最近は女性警官の採用が増えたからね。
The number of female officers has increased recently.
と言っても警部補見習いは今年は私一人だけみたいだけど。
But I might be the only one nominated for deputy inspector this year.
だからそう言うとみんなびっくりしてる。
So everyone was surprised when I told them.
そりゃそうだよ。
Well, yeah!
30前で しかも女性で警部補さんでしょ。
A woman under the age of 40 being promoted to deputy inspector?
普通ならありえないよ。
Completely out of the norm. Many industries have been publicly endorsing gender equality, but there were still problems with that in practice. Police officers in particular are required to have the robustness to deal with criminals, so being a lady is seen as a disadvantage. In fact, Tomoe's test results were a larger factor in her promotion than her manager's recommendation and the job interview. When she found out she passed the test on her first shot, she couldn't believe her ears.
最近の偉い人たちは割と懐が大きいみたいね。
The most admirable people lately seem to be the ones with the biggest hearts.
まさかこんなにも早くお父さんと並べるとは思っていなかったんだけど。
Bet there's no way I expected to catch up with Dad so soon. After saying that, Tomoe chugged the rest of her wine. Madoka had a bitter smile on her face as she refilled Tomoe's empty glass. Even though it was a rural college, Tomoe still graduated from a national university, whereas her father, Yusuke Minai, was just a high school graduate. So thanks to that key difference in their educational background, they couldn't be compared so easily. But for the two of them, the title of Deputy Inspector certainly had a special sentiment.
お姉ちゃん、
Says,
まだお父さんのあれ相変わらず追い続けてるの？
are you still chasing that thing Dad left behind?
え？
Huh?
もちろんよ。
Yeah, of course. They're drinking to celebrate Madoka getting into the police force. That thing was the memo from Tomoe's father that she found in the scorched remains of the storehouse after their parents perished in the fire. According to the note, her father Yusuke Minai discovered something on a Wednesday in June, but she still couldn't figure out what it meant.
警部補になったら過去の捜査資料も前より見ることができるんだよね。
Once you've been promoted to deputy inspector, you'll be able to review archive investigation materials, right?
よかったじゃない。これからはだいぶやりやすくなるよ。
Isn't that great? That'll make things much easier from now on.
うん。
Yeah.
だけど警部補になると今までよりも忙しくなって年休があんまり取れなくなるんだよね。
However, being promoted to deputy inspector also means I'll be even busier with work, so I won't be able to take much time off.
それに警察庁で力になってくれていた人も今度異動になるみたいだし。
Plus, the people in charge over at the National Police Agency seem interested in changing things.
そうなんだ。
I say,
あれからもうすぐ10年なんだね。
soon it'll be 10 years since then. Did it really feel like 10 years? Or was it no time at all? Tomoe wasn't sure. However, since losing her parents and living away from Madoka, she dedicated her life to pushing herself hard at work every day.
ごめんね。せっかくのめでたい席に変なことを思い出させて。
Sorry, these strange topics have derailed our wonderful celebration.
さあ、今日はとにかく飲みましょう。
Well, do you want to drink anyway?
もうそんなに気合い入れなくても。
I think I've already hit my limit,
お姉ちゃんはただでさえ大食いで大酒飲みなんだからさ。
says you were always the big eater and big drinker.
ちょっとくらい抑えめで標準だよ。
Maybe a little restraint would be better.
失礼ね。
How rude.
お酒はもともとそんなに飲まないわよ。
I don't drink that often.
ただ飲む時には思いっきり飲むだけで。
But when I do drink, I make sure I drink plenty.
それを大酒飲みって言うのよ。
So says the drunkard.
あ、そうだ。
Oh, right.
せっかくだから今日はあんたの家に泊めてもらおうかな。
Sorry to trouble you, but would you mind if I stayed at your house tonight?
それがいいな。
Yeah, that would be better.
そうしたらホテル代も浮くしね。
It would save me the hotel fee.
いいでしょ、まどか。
Is that okay, Madoka?
だからそういうところがケチだって。
So you're asking because you're being cheap.
じゃなくて、
Is that it?
私の家に来るの？
You wanna come to my house?
それはちょっと。
That might be a little...
いいじゃない、姉妹なんだからさ。
Come on, we're sisters.
別に誰かと同棲してるってわけでもないんでしょ。
It's not like you're living with someone. Are you?
え？
Huh? After seeing Madoka's reaction, Tomoe stopped pouring the wine and looked up. Her face was turning slightly red, and her eyes were wandering.
いるの？
Is there someone?
一緒に住んでる人？
A person you're living with?
いや、その、
No, well...
正確には私がその人の家に住んでるんだけどね。
Oh god. To be more precise, I live in their house.
ふーん、
Oh boy.
そうなんだ。
I see. Oh god. That slightly unexpected answer washed away Tomoe's drunken mood. Thinking about it, they were both much older, so it wasn't all that surprising. Still, realizing that his sister was willing to live with someone other than her made her feel lonely.
ごめんね。
Sorry.
別に秘密にしておくつもりはなかったんだよ。
I didn't mean to keep it a secret.
ただ、もう少しちゃんと目処がついたら報告しようかなって思ってただけで。
I just, thought it would be better not to mention it.
何言ってるのよ。
What are you saying?
同棲してる時点で十分リーチじゃないの。
Isn't living together enough of a stretch?
いや、お姉ちゃんのその考え方はちょっと古すぎるような。
No, sis. Your perspective is a little old-fashioned. For the longest time, Tomoe held very proper ideals about men and women dating. But Madoka thought the time for that was over. She didn't think that staying over at a man's house was something worth preaching about all morning.
それで？
So...
え？
Huh?
ちなみにどんな人なの？
What kind of person is this guy?
もし水商売関係とか言ったらぶっ飛ばすわよ。
If you tell if you tell me he's a nightclub worker, I might have to smack you.
違うって。
It's not like that!
立派な肩書きも社会的信用もある人だよ。
He has a real job with a title and credibility and seniority.
それにとっても優しいし真面目で。
Thoughtful and earnest and geriatric.
そんなの私会ってもいないのにわかんないわよ。
Well, how would I know if I haven't met him?
というわけだから近いうちに紹介しなさい。
So you'll have to introduce us soon.
これ命令ね。
Ah, that's an order.
もうこういうところでお姉ちゃんパワー使わないでよ。
Come on! Don't use your sister power like this. You know, only for good, not for evil.
それにお姉ちゃんだって知ってる人だよ。
Besides, don't you already know him?
ほら警察庁でお世話になった。
After you've received some help from the National Police Agency?
警察庁でお世話に？
Help from the National Police Agency?
はて。
What? After hearing that, Tomoe thought of the faces of the people she met at the National Police Agency. But most of them were married men, therefore...
まさか不倫？
No way. Are you involved in an affair?
ね
Hold on, I'm gonna need some liquid courage for this.
私のこと一体どう思ってるのかな
What on earth do you think of me?
そんなわけないでしょ
I wouldn't do something like that. I'd do something completely different.
ちゃんと結婚も考えてるんだからね
Plus, I'm thinking about getting properly married, okay? All fancy like.
じゃあ誰なのよ
Well, who is it then?
教えてくれてもいいじゃない
Can't you tell me?
なら言うけど驚かないでよ
I tell you. Super duper ultra pinky promise you won't be surprised. What?
冗談はやめてよ
You're kidding!
そんなの私絶対認めないわよ
There's no way I can believe that!
警部
Who's this? I don't know.
Chief Inspector.
見ない警部
Chief Inspector Minai.
ああうるさい
Shut up!
今取り込み中
I'm in the middle of something!
それに私は警部じゃなくて警部補よ
Besides, I'm not a chief inspector yet, I'm a deputy inspector!
起きてください見ない警部
Please wake up, Chief Inspector Minai.
Oh my god, damn it, we didn't get to see the whole thing. Oh my god. Thursday, July 7th, 1983. Inside Kageboushi Station.
は
Wha- When she opened her eyes, a familiar face stood before her.
藤田君
Vegeta-kun.
すみませんお休みのところ
Sorry for interrupting your rest.
よろしいですか
Can you spare a moment?
あうん
Yeah. Tomoe slightly raised her upper body as she let out a small yawn. Then she looked around with her eyes still half asleep. This was the break room. She intended to take a light nap in the middle of the night and laid herself down on the chase lounge, but apparently she had fallen completely asleep. She could see the light of the morning sun and hear the cry of a sparrow coming from outside the window. Tomoe noticed a large blanket down by her feet and realized someone must have hung it over her.
夢か
Was that a dream? Or a nightmare?
え
What?
うんなんでもない
No, it's nothing. Finally starting to regain her consciousness, Tomoe sat up in the chair and quickly folded up the blanket. And after delicately slapping both her cheeks, she turned to Detective Vegeta.
何か動きが
Did something happen?
ええ例の件で少々
Yeah, it's related to the active investigation.
早朝で申し訳ありませんが第三会議室に来ていただけますか
Sorry for waking you up so early in the morning, but could you come to conference room number 3?
大石刑事と赤坂警視ももう間もなくこちらに到着する予定です
Detective Uishi and Inspector Akasaka will be arriving soon.
分かった
Understood.
あちょっとシャワー浴びてきたいから10分後でもいい
Oh, I'd really like to take a shower first. Can I wait 10 minutes?
わかりましたでは
Understood. See you then.
Damn. Tomoe can take a shower in 10 minutes and be ready by the end of that. I'd take like at least twice as long to just put on makeup. Holy fuck. Jeez. Detective Fujita gently bowed, then left the break room. He was a straightforward type, and wore his feelings all over his face. From how he looked, it was easy to assume this would be a bad story.
さてと
Well then. Tomoe stood up and exited the break room. The shower room was far from the break room, so she walked down the empty hallway. She thought back on the content of her dream.
あの日は結局また喧嘩別れだったな。
We ended up fighting again that day. After leaving the celebration, she boarded the train with her head boiling in anger. She drank more on the way and got into a scuffle with the conductor at Tokyo Station. At least she thought so. Oh my god. I'm Tomoe. This is my choo-choo train. Woo-hoo!
Miss, you're not allowed in here.
I'll tell you where I'm allowed. I'm the police chief of the world. It's time to go. You're under arrest. I'm going to drive this train straight over my boss and give my sister a talking to. Woo-hoo!
Miss, I really think you've had too much to drink.
Oh, I'll tell you when I've had too much to drink. And that's now. Like, I could just seriously picture that scene. Oh my god, she was completely drunk at the time, so she didn't remember much. And she eventually woke up on a park bench, but surprisingly, her body was in good shape. Fortunately, Madoka called a few days later to say sorry about before, which prevented the issue from escalating.
今思えば別にあそこまで怒る必要はなかったんだよね。
In hindsight, there was nothing to be angry about. Her sister continued dealing with the man from the National Police Agency, their father's old boss, and Tomoe's current boss. Love had no age limit, so if Madoka was serious about him, Tomoe should be willing to accept it. Even though she had her misgivings about the age difference, it wasn't a strong enough reason to be opposed. Opposition at the time was really just jealousy. The loneliness of her sister moving away reminded her of losing her parents.
とはいえ
Although, Tomoe thought back to a few days ago about what she said to Natsumi. To not simply wait to find people to believe in, but to make an effort to believe in them. She didn't practice that belief even though she was the one who said it. No matter how great it sounded, it was only an empty promise.
そうよね。
Right.
あの子にあれだけ大見栄を切ったんだから
I said that so proudly to that girl.
そろそろ潮時かな。
So now's the time to act. Tomoe nodded in response, even though nobody was there to see a response. I talk to myself sometimes too, Tomoe, don't worry about it. She felt that her guilt was finally starting to feel a little lighter.
それじゃあ花田くん、例の件を報告して。
All right, Hanada-kun, report on the incident.
はい。
Rather.
例の君吉家の祖母秋ですが。
Oh wait, is Hanada the old man? I keep forgetting because I know there's some police officers that are recurring and some are just random. I wish that, honestly, instead of naming the ones that don't matter, they should just call them Officer Number 1, 2, 3, like, or something. See, that's the kind of character you name with a description rather than a freaking name. And I forget if Hanada is the old guy from the... Are you serious? There's a Hanada and a Hanaka. Apparition, thank you, by the way. Why would you do that in a story? My god, you would name two characters, two side characters, like two names so similar. My god. Okay, thank you, Apparition. Hanada is a subservient along with Fujita. Okay. Thank you so much. Exactly, Void Dweller. D-Class 1007, exactly. It's about the grandmother of the Kimiyoshi family, Aki.
やはりこの数日誰も目撃した者がいないそうです。
Yeah, but oh wait, the difference is that they're twins. It's part of the story. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, apparition. I was thinking of Hanaka. The one Hanaka is the one I was thinking of, the one in the beginning of Sumetsushi, and he also appeared briefly before. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mion and Shion are twins. Like, there's a reason for that.
Apparently nobody has seen her for the past few days.
Detective Hanada pointed to a photo of an old woman attached to the whiteboard with a magnet as he read his report aloud. On Chief Inspector Minai's orders, he had asked around the places Akakimiyoshi visited on a daily basis. Hold on, you guys. I just gotta take a brief bathroom break. I will be right back. Alright, I just read what apparition said. No pains over the lights, 0 out of 10 room immersion. Exactly. I'm not. God damn it, now I can't unsee it. Oh my god. What? That's true. Now, why are there no pains over these lights? Like, you never have exposed fluorescent light bulbs. What the fuck? God damn it, apparition. I don't think we were supposed to notice that. Oh my god. On Chief Inspector Minai's orders, he asked around the places Akakimiyoshi visited on a daily basis.
つまり家に閉じこもっているということですか?
In other words, you're saying that she's confined at home.
いえ、それがどうも変なんです。
No, that sounds very unusual.
実は一昨日、宅配便の配達員が君吉家を訪れたそうなんですが、家の中は異常にしんと静まり返っていたと。
Actually, a delivery man visited the Kimiyoshi house the day before yesterday, and said the house was unusually quiet.
That delivery man had apparently visited the Kimiyoshi house a few days prior as well, when it was littered with those eerie magical decorations. And during the visit, he was clearly able to hear the old woman chanting prayers from the back room.
まじないをやめたってことですかね。
That means she gave up on the prayers.
あるいは体調を崩しているとか。
Or maybe her health is deteriorating.
それ以外の可能性も考えた方がいいかもしれませんが。
Well, we're also considering other possibilities, but it might be better not to think about that.
その理由は
What do you mean by that?
Detective Hanada turned toward Chief Inspector Minai, feeling a little lost.
Help me! Help me! Tomoe!
Noticing that, she urged him to continue with a nod.
Oh, thank God.
実は土曜日の晩です。
Actually, on Saturday night,
君吉家の2つ隣の家の受験生が車のエンジン音を聞いたそうです。
two students from the house next door heard the sound of a car starting.
その時聞いていた深夜ラジオの内容から推測して、だいたい午前2時頃だったと。
Based on the contents of the late night radio they were listening to at the time, it was around 2 a.m. in the morning.
それで
So,
君吉当時の所有する車は少し離れた場所の駐車場に置いてあるのですが、
The car owned by Toji Kimiyoshi was spotted at a parking lot some distance away.
this is the voice I use for all the mountain hounds in Higurashi, so I don't know. It felt appropriate since they're just he's just a random minion. If it's too annoying, I'll change it.
The car owned by Toji Kimiyoshi was spotted at a parking lot some distance away.
先月ひなみ沢へ里帰りに行った後、近くのガソリンスタンドで洗車を行ったとの証言があります。
A witness claims they saw the car going through a car wash at a gas station on the way back from Hinamizawa.
にもかかわらず私が見たところ、タイヤ近くのボディ裏には草混じりの泥がびっしりとついていました。
Even so, I was able to find traces of grassy mud on the back of the car near the tires.
Oh?
ということは、ここ最近にどこか山道のあるところへ出かけたということになりますな。
You're right, Footfeller. I didn't even realize I sounded a bit like Velma there.
So y'all are saying he drove down a rural mountain road recently, huh?
See, like, nobody can say that. Nafoo foo foo. Like, he's clearly just saying like you can't vocalize that. Uishi-san let out a courageous laugh as he looked over the materials at hand. As Detective Hanada had said, the traces of dried mud were clearly visible in a photo sandwiched between two other pieces of evidence.
そこで君吉当時に先日任意で聞き込みを行いました。
So, I asked Toji Kimiyoshi about it the other day.
Yeah, Nipa can totally be vocalized.
彼は日曜日、岐阜県の山に出かけていたことにつきましてはあっさり認めました。
He confirmed they traveled to the mountains in Gifu Prefecture on Sunday.
何でも沢釣りに行ったとのことです。
Interesting. So last time in Sumetsushi, was that was she dreaming of this world? Oh wow. I wonder if her dream was actually something that actually happened in this world.
He claimed he was out fishing.
沢釣りね。
Fishing, huh?
それでうまく誘導して車の後部トランクを開けさせたところ、
Then he calmly led me to the rear of his car and opened the trunk. Then he clunked me on the back of the head with a shovel, and then I woke up several hours later in a daze on the side of the road.
確かに中には彼の証言通り釣り道具一式とあと魚の匂いが残っていました。
And just as he claimed, I noticed fishing tools and the distinct aroma of fish inside the trunk.
ただ
However,
ただ
However,
念のため彼の職場の何人かにも確認したのですが、当時の趣味が釣りだという話は皆初耳だったそうです。
I asked around his workplace just in case, and when I mentioned he had a hobby of fishing, they all acted like it was the first time they had heard of it.
それに彼の釣り道具のルアーを自分で見て確かめたのですが、
I think that her dream was actually of this world. Because it kind of fits with this. So if that's true, then we should be able to see the police discovering the body on the side of the road.
Plus, I examined the fishing lures myself,
明らかに海用でした。
and they were clearly intended for deep sea fishing, so this guy's, telling us a bunch of bullshit.
After saying that, Detective Hinata dropped 2 lures on the desk. They didn't look so different at first glance, but the one labeled for river fishing was clearly a little smaller.
私事で恐縮ですが、実は私も釣りが趣味なものですから。
Sorry for bringing up my private affairs, but I actually enjoy fishing in my free time. He's like, well, I'm something of a fisherman myself.
いくら初心者とはいえ、この程度の間違いをして、しかも何匹か釣り上げてきたというのは信じられませんね。
The most inexperienced of beginners would make this sort of mistake. And once more, I can't believe he actually caught anything like this. I mean, seriously.
はほ
oh,
ちなみに花田刑事は結構いける方なんですか？
By the way, Detective Anada, are you any good at fishing?
まあそこそこには。
Well, somewhat. I don't like to brag.
妻は川魚が好物で、結果次第でご機嫌が上下するものですから、結構研究に研究を重ねたものです。
My wife enjoys river fish, and her mood rises and falls based on my results, so I try to do a lot of research.
はい、のろけ話はその辺で。
Right, back to the story at hand.
早い話が偽装の可能性が高いということね。
Seriously, I think this is actually the first time we've seen a character model. A sprite, I mean. This entire episode so far. I don't know why, like even in the console arcs, they're squeamish about using the sprites. Like, in that scene when they were drinking at the restaurant, we have sprites for Tomoe and sprites for Madoka in more than one outfit, but they don't want to use them. So you're saying there's a high probability that the suspect was being duplicitous, aka was saying a bunch of bullshit.
花田くん
Right, Hanada-kun?
ええ、そうです。
Yes, sirree, that's right.
なるほどね。
I see.
となるとまずいですよ大石さん。
if that's the case, this is bad, Uishi-san.
Aki Kimiyoshi's disappearance, the late night engine sounds, the remnants of mountain driving, and duplicitous behavior on top of it all. Now, like you can see, it's just gonna go. The camera's gonna zoom into Tomoe's mind, and we're gonna have to connect the logic of disappearance, engine sounds, and the remnants of mountain driving and duplicitous behavior, and she'll go Eureka, and then it'll, and then her health will recharge. If we follow that train of logic to its conclusion, we're already too late.
君吉当時にもう少し揺さぶりをかけてみますか
Should we shake some more info out of Toji Kimiyoshi?
いや、それはまだ早いと思います。
No, I think it's still too early for that.
普段から引きこもりがちと聞きましたから、いると白を切られてしまえば踏み込めません。
Even if we pressure him, he would just pretend to know nothing and we wouldn't get anything else out of him.
捜査令状を取るとしても、確実な証拠を抑えたわけではありませんし。
Even if we issued a search warrant, we don't have enough evidence.
でしょうな。
I suppose.
それに彼は主犯ではなく共犯ということも考えられます。
Besides, it's possible that he's not the main culprit and only an accomplice.
その場合、主犯の人物に口封じでもされる可能性がありますよ。
In that case, there's a possibility he would keep quiet to protect the main culprit.
Chief Inspector Minai rested her chin on her hands and closed her eyes for a while. Then, when she collected her thoughts, she opened her eyes again and turned to Detective Hanada.
Kimiyoshi Tojiはしばらく泳がせておきましょう。
Let's leave Toji Kimiyoshi alone for the time being.
その代わり、彼が沢釣りに行ったという山に捜査員を派遣します。
Instead, we should dispatch an investigator to the mountains where he went fishing.
理由は失踪した疑いのある君吉明の捜索。
That's likely where Aki Kimiyoshi disappeared, so we should search there.
花田くん、山村課長に行って一家から何人か借りてきてくれる？
Hanada-kun, can you ask Section Chief Yamamura if we can borrow some manpower from their department?
わかりました。
I have heard that song, Featherine. That is a badass character theme.
Understood.
岐阜県警さんと沢口署さんには署長から連絡してもらって了解を取っておいてね。
We need the chief to contact Gifu Prefectural Police Headquarters and Sawaguchi Station and request their consent on this investigation.
あと、県警本部に連絡して鑑識の手配をお願い。
Then we'll need to get to the main office and to send a forensics team.
捜査開始まで時間はかかっちゃうけど、後々のことを考えれば仕方ないわ。
It'll take some time to get the investigation set up, but... God damn it, it didn't... Ah, jeez. Oh, all this stuff. It can't be helped. God damn it. It's not showing up. For whatever reason, it's not showing up on the front. You know what? That was number 40. That was 46, actually. I don't know why it's not showing up. God damn it. It's probably because it's not at the front or something. Yep, that was number 46. But it can't be helped, because it's our best course of action.
了解です。
Roger! Detective Hinata quickly rose from his seat and ran out of the room.
私たちも手伝いましょうか
I moved it to the top, Oe.
Would you like us to help as well?
山の捜索なら人数は多い方がいいと思いますので。
If you're searching out in the mountains, it'll be better to have as many people as possible.
あ、いえ、
No.
赤坂警視と大石さんには別のことを緊急でお願いしたいのですが、よろしいでしょうか。
Inspector Akasaka, there is another matter I urgently need your support on, if you don't mind.
別のこと？はて。
Another matter? What is it?
これです。
This. As she said that, Chief Inspector Minai removed a palm-sized pink case from her inside pocket. She opened the lid, revealing packages containing unusually colored capsules.
What's that?
君吉夏美が以前携帯していたものです。
Natsumi Kimiyoshi was carrying this earlier. Well, I mean, feathering, your power is equivalent to one of the SCP-001s. So I'd say, I don't think there's any that can overpower you. But, many come close, yeah. Natsumi Kimiyoshi was carrying this earlier.
返そうと思って今日までつい機会を逸していたのですが。
I was planning to return it, but I haven't had the opportunity.
風邪薬かなんかですかね。
Is this cold medicine or something?
食欲のなくなりそうな色のカプセルですな。
Color on these capsules is making me lose my appetite.
印字の記号から各メーカーに問い合わせてみたのですが、どれも該当なし。
Yeah, since feathering is an extraversal entity, even a ZK class event shouldn't be able to affect her. I tried asking the major drug manufacturers about the printed markings, but they didn't match anything.
法定外の薬の可能性がありますね。
There's a chance these aren't legal drugs. Normally, prescription drugs contain markings to identify the name and manufacturer of the drug. Failing to do so indicated that these were unregulated drugs, so their domestic use should be severely restricted.
薬の成分については岐阜県警の松岡君に調べてもらっています。
I asked Matsuoka-kun from the Gifu Prefectural Police Department to investigate the ingredients of this medicine.
彼はこの手の分析が得意なので。
He is particularly proficient at this sort of analysis.
で、お二人には佐伯総合病院で君吉夏美の通院歴を確認していただきたいのです。
And I'd appreciate it if the two of you could confirm Natsumi Kimiyoshi's hospitalization history at Saiki General Hospital.
なるほど。
I see.
この薬はそこで処方されたものだと。
Was this medicine prescribed there?
いえ、まだそこまでは。
No, not there.
ただ、彼女の住む町で大きな病院は佐伯総合病院だけです。
However, there is a decent-sized hospital near her old town, unaffiliated with Saiki General Hospital.
ですから、これを入手する方法として一番可能性が高いのはそこではないかと。
So that's probably the most likely place she got it from.
まあ確かに。
Ah, of course.
小さな院ではリスクとコストのことを考えても法定外の薬を扱うとはちょっと考えにくいですからね。
Even a smaller clinic needs to worry about the costs and risks of dealing with illegal medication.
それにこの薬
Oh, thanks, Featherine. Also, about this medicine.
例の畠山家で見つけてきたカプセルと形状と色が似ているのです。
The shape and color seem to match the capsule we found at that Takayama residence.
これを見てください。
Please take a look. After saying that, Chief Inspector Minai pointed to a picture of the capsule she found the other day.
ほほう、
Oh,
言われてみれば似ていますね。
now that you mention it, they do look similar.
こんな派手な色、薬向きじゃないと思っていましたが。
I wouldn't expect prescription drugs to use such flashy colors.
単なる偶然の一致かもしれませんが、念のため君吉夏美の他に畠山家の家族全員の通院歴も調べてもらえたら助かります。
It may just be a coincidence, but in just in case, it would be helpful if you could verify the hospitalization history of the entire Takayama family while you investigate Natsumi Kimiyoshi's history.
捜査令状は取ってありますので、今度は刑事として対応してください。
We have a search warrant this time, so please identify yourselves as detectives.
お心遣い
I
助かります。
appreciate your support.
Last time, our rash behavior caused our cover story about being publishers to fall apart. There might still be some animosity over that.
本来なら私が直接行くつもりだったのですが、今日までに例の衝殺事件の報告書をあげなければいけませんので。
I plan to handle this directly, but I need to write a report on the recent burning incident.
お願いできますでしょうか。
Can you do me this favor?
もちろんです。
Of course.
早速行きましょうか。お石さん。
Let's head out immediately, Uishi-san.
ええ、
Yeah!
それじゃあともえちゃん、今日のご祝儀に吉報を期待しててくださいな。
Alright, Tomoe-chan. Look forward to good news later today. Consider it my gift to you.
ご祝儀？
Gift.
意味がわかりませんよ。まったく。
Can't say I understand where you're going with that. Chief Inspector Minai's face exploded in astonishment. Anyway, Psyche General Hospital, huh? Hopefully some useful information will be hiding there. Okay, it's Hayami and Hanaka. Okay. Not as similar, but it's still kind of confusing. I see. Okay. Thank you, Apparition.
So れじゃあ藤田君、報告を聞きましょうか。
Well then, Fujita-kun, let's see your report. After Akasaka and Uishi left the room, Tomoe's expression returned to normal as she turned towards Fujita. Having not said a word until then, he pulled out the report hidden under his desk and handed it to Tomoe with a painful expression.
何？
What?
よろしかったのですか。
Is this alright?
花田や赤坂警視たちにこのことをお知らせしなくても。
Keeping this information from Hanada, Inspector Akasaka, and the rest. Hey, I heard that!
聞かせたくなかったのよ。
I'd rather they not hear it.
あの二人にはまだね。
At least for those two, not yet.
What about me?
You don't matter, Hanada.
Oh.
Tomoe replied with a sign as she turned over the cover of the report.
花田くんってこの前娘さんが誕生したばかりでしょ。
Hanada-kun's daughter was just born, right?
赤坂警視にも娘さんがいる。
And Inspector Okasaka has a daughter of his own.
まだ確定じゃない状況で安易に話すのもどうかと思ったしね。
We haven't finalized the details yet, so I think it'll be difficult to discuss it.
でももうほぼ確定と言って差し支えないと思います。
But we've almost finished confirming everything, so I don't think it would hurt.
Then Tomoe continued flipping through the pages, looking over to investigation photos. Fujita had borrowed it from the forensics team. It showed the interior of the Takayama household, the room of the eldest son, Kentaro. It was probably shooting from close range, with huge bloodstains spread across the wall, as if from an explosion. Oh my god, Jess, you're right. Why are the Higurashi in the police station? In contrast with their visit yesterday, the pictures clearly illustrated the lack of life in the house. Tomoe suddenly frowned when looking at the muddy color of the blood.
俺にはまだ信じられません。
I still can't believe it.
それに今回ばかりはミナイさんの推理が外れてくれと本気で考えていました。
Seriously, Minai, I thought your hunch was completely off base this time. I mean, just completely loony.
そっか。
I see. That'll teach you to doubt me from now on.
私もね、実は同じ。
I see. Actually, I feel the same way.
今でもまだ私の勝手な想像だったらなって期待しちゃってる。
Actually, I feel the same way. Even now, I hoped it was all.
Oh, goddammit, that was Tomoe. Fucking hell. I see. Actually, I feel the same way. Even now, I'd hoped it was all my imagination.
でも現実は見ないとね。
But the reality is clear as day. As she said that, Tomoe arranged the photos on the desk, according to the tags attached to them. Out in front was a photo of the wall in Kentaro's room that she had taken earlier, and one of the wall inside Masao and his wife's room.
最初に違和感を持ったのはこの血の飛び散り方を見たときね。
At first, something seemed off about the way the blood was scattered. Sorry, I went into the menu.
そして実際に見に行って、もしかしたらがおそらくになった。
And after close examination, that went from a maybe to probably. Tomoe pointed to the bloodstain on the wall of Kentaro's room.
ライフルを射撃で構えるときは普通こう肩の高さで狙いをつける。
When firing a rifle, the shooter normally holds the rifle at shoulder height.
だから銃弾はその本人の身長に見合ったものになる。
When firing a rifle, the shooter normally holds the gun up at shoulder height, so the position of the bullet would roughly correspond to the person's height.
ええ。
Right.
ただ身長の低い対象物を 至近距離から撃つときは違うわよね。
However, it's not like that if you're shooting a low object, that if you're shooting a low object at close range, right?
ほとんどの大人の場合は立ったまま銃口を下に向けて引き金を引く。
Most adults would stand still and point the muzzle down as they pull the trigger.
だとしたら
In that case, of course, the bullet would have gone right over Kentaro's head otherwise.
健太郎は至近距離から銃弾を頭部に受けて即死した。
But Kentaro received a bullet to the head from close range and died immediately.
だったら血痕が壁に付着するのは変。見下ろす姿勢から発射すれば普通なら血痕は床に広がるはず。
Oh my god. And died immediately. In that case, it's strange for the bloodstain to be scattered across the wall. If the gun was fired from a downward angle, it would make sense for the bloodstains to be spread across the floor.
でも血痕も銃弾も壁にあったということは
But the bloodstains and the bullet were found on the wall.
ライフルが構えられた高さはほぼ健太郎と同じということになる。
So the rifle was roughly held at Kentaro's height.
ええ、
Yep.
鑑識も同じ見解でした。
The forensics team had the same opinion.
それにもう一つ
And another thing.
マサオはライフルを喉に押し当てて自殺を図ったとのことだけど
About that theory that Masao committed suicide by holding the rifle to his throat.
ライフルの向きを考えると別の見方もある。
Based on the direction of the rifle, there's another possibility.
つまりマサオよりも身長の低い犯人が見上げる姿勢からライフルを発射した。
Oh god. Based on the direction of the rifle, there's another possibility. In other words, a culprit much shorter than Masao fired the rifle at an upward angle. Oh god. There was another kid, wasn't there? They all went fucking psycho.
ではやはり本当の犯人は彼女ということですか。
In that case, the real culprit is her?
ええ、そう。
Yes, exactly.
現時点で最も怪しいのは
At the moment, the most likely suspect is
長女の畠山葵よ。
unbelievable. The daughter, Aoi Hatokiyama. That's insane. That was a rather long transition. Now, hold on just 1 second. I just want to check how long this chapter is. Because we're 90 minutes in, but yesterday we had a rather long stream. And I just want to see. Like, Jess, I gotta say that. Aoi Takayama, you're the only one! Break! Alright, let's see. Where are we at? Where are we at? Saw that. Saw that. Yeah, that was a long one. I see. Okay. Now let's see. That's where we are. Yeah, we are just gonna... We are approaching a line of chapters There's a break, probably 20 minutes in part 6. Yeah, we're in part 16 for sure. And out of 26 parts. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But a lot of the parts are pretty goddamn long. Did I do the voicing for Umineko parody? No, I didn't. I didn't even know there was an Umineko abridged or parody. I don't know how to edit to save my life, so I would never be able to do something as part of an abridged series. You know, yesterday's stream went on a bit long, and I'm getting kind of tired, and I do want to pace myself for this, so is it okay if we end this one a bit early? Have a 90-minute stream? Is that okay with you guys? Because tomorrow we're going to start... I do? Really? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Thanks, Featherine. I didn't even know there was. So, alright, you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, this one's gonna be a shorter one by like around half hour. And, yep, so tomorrow we start Seabed. Can you believe it? And then the day after, we get right back into Higurashi. Okay? So, with that, I think this is a pretty cool one, actually. It does seem like a good place to stop, too. I love the interaction between Tomoe and Madoka in this part. Sure, Void Dweller. And good night, everybody. So until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You are all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.